So Tryb is a technology company. We're based here in Singapore, and we solve a problem that we founders think that there is a gap in the market for. Specifically, how do you deliver practical solutions to financial institutions, technology solutions to financial institutions. And I think every founder has their own sort of motivation and story. The four co-founders, of which Markus and I are two, we saw a gap. The company from very different angles, and then the four of us, Magnus, Nels, Markus, and myself, we represent very different tribes. This is a very complicated space, but there's a huge growth market here in Singapore and ASEAN. And I think the opportunity to bring good tech to institutions that want to modernize, they want to own and digitize more of their own value chains and processes. There's a very sort of big burgeoning startup community here and in the region, and there are also a lot of established companies that we need to sort of bring together to develop real practical solutions. I think Singapore's position within the ASEAN economic community, within Asia in general, the ease of doing business, the ease of setting up, the bilateral arrangements that the country has with every major and actually vast majority of minor business jurisdictions is pretty much key. Financial services is cross-border, technology is cross-border. We layer those two on top, and you need to have a really good hub. And for us, this is home, but this is also where it's the easiest to facilitate adoption and then therefore the growth for those technology platforms. Business growth challenges. I think there are a number of different challenges. I think the biggest challenge, to be honest, is just identifying what people mean as growth. I mean, it's easy to say you have financial numbers and you want to hit a revenue target and to get profitability, this and that and everything. But I think the challenge for a lot of both mid-market and even the startup companies is saying, how do I want to grow? What problem am I actually solving? And I think with the financial technology space in particular, it gets a little bit more complex because some institutions want to compete with established financial institutions, in which case they believe that they're just offering something just similar, just in a more cheap way, and others are actually interested in the productivity side of things by working with existing institutions, which is the tech side, which is actually a little bit more what we like. A lot of that then translates into literally just execution, having the right partners, and with all business, I think that's very much down to the drive and the hunger of the entrepreneurs and the teams that they build around them.
I like to think we have grown a lot, but also we are also only 1 year old, so we're also a startup ourselves, if you like. One example is I think also very famous in Singapore is the talent acquisition. How do you find the talent here? And we put out one job description for an associate role. We received 1,300 applications, and I have to admit, not many actually were really applicable for us. So there's a lot of interest in the space to leave the bank, to join Singapore, and I think to be more investor. But at the same time, finding the right fit with culture, entrepreneurial spirit, execution wasn't easy. And I think the last 6, 8, 9, 10 months, we've been very busy getting the right culture and the right people on board. And that was, I think, one of the key elements of growing now. And now we have been to get the right team together, and it's quite exciting.
Well, Rikvin's helped us with a lot of that back-end setting up, administration, getting the right sort of processes in place. I think there's the finance, the tax, the audit, a large part of the ops, specifically on the workflow side of the processes. And I think there's been all that internal flow and a part of the external flow as well. And I think Rikvin's got a relatively large network for our region, and some of those softer introductions were also pretty useful. Straightforward, friendly, honest.
It's a good question. I think we're not necessarily yet too old as a company, so we just started last year. I think when we have done 2 investments so far. One investment was into a company called Shinsei. It's a Swedish-based company that provides technology in the trade and trade finance space. We had a workshop 3 weeks ago when the management team from Singapore and Sweden came here together, and we had a 2.5-day workshop. And I think the feedback was afterwards that within these 2.5 days we were able to really change the strategy, the business plan, provide so much input to them that I think they're ready for more growth. And to really feel and you can see that adding value as an investor, as a shareholder, it's just a fascinating and great experience. And we're looking forward to having more of that. I think working together with the founders and management is just really, really I think, rewarding.
Honestly, the people you work with, everyone's here to solve a problem, but solving problems is difficult. We've all done math, get annoyed when you can't get the equation out the door. But you come into school because you're classmates, and it's not dissimilar. You come in because you have good founders, you have good management, you have a good team. I think Markus's point earlier, we've spent a lot of time defining our culture, our values, who we are. And we come in because we want to be with what's essentially an extension of your own family. To build something in an environment that encourages it for a problem that we're all down the same page and want to solve.
I mean, getting up in the morning and you know that every single thing you do has an impact. So you get up and if you write this email or take this phone call, I can change the business, I can actually do something about it. And I think having the ability to build and to have impact, it's just a super amazing feeling in your I think, at least when I get up in the morning and say, let's do this.
No, I think along those lines, you don't have to always want to change the world that everybody believes, but the world is the people around you. You have a good, positive, immediate impact when you come to work with them.
I mean, to all the corporate friends out there, if you're a corporate, sometimes you feel that some time is wasted, right, during the day. And I think in a startup or starting a company, you know that every resource is so valuable, so there's no time wasted. Even though we have our fun times and other things as well.
It's fun. It's got to be fun.
Yeah, it's always fun. I think the same thing, people. To be honest, close the loop. Yeah. So being founders, you've got to make sure that there's enough funding in place, that that the subsidiaries invested are doing well, that the board is managing the fund the right way. Do we have enough cash flow? I think there's a lot of these typical, business questions. Is the team happy? And do we all sit in the same boat? Are we aligned with the values? But also I think personal things. You work 18 hours a day sometimes, and sometimes just too much information you had. You have to learn how to step back. You have to learn how there's one email might not be sent tonight, but it'll be tomorrow. Because you're so passionate about what you're trying to do, just got to learn how to just step back and work.
No, exactly. It's energy. You derive a lot of it from the want to come and have fun to do work, and you have to modulate that, make sure that it doesn't sort of bleed over, and then it causes you to sleep tonight. That's one productive again tomorrow. So a lot of it is actually just a drive to be productive, managing that energy. In 5 years, I'd like to think that we're trying to achieve what we set out to do today, the business plan. It won't be the end game, because every company is a living creature on its own. It will evolve and grow. I think in 5 years, we'd like to have achieved what we set out to do, that we've communicated to our sort of bankers, shareholders, and partners today, that we are a listed conglomerate, an MNC. It stands for a portfolio of technology, services, and products that facilitate the flow of financial capital around ASEAN, very much integrated into the global financial system, whether it's capital markets, trade finance, asset management, corporate banking, SME banking. A lot of the ASEAN space is also in the microfinance area, and a lot of data behind it, big data analytics, compliance, regulatory technology, potentially sort of more complicated SaaS or distributed ledger technologies in the back end, and we're actually seen as that one-stop shop for financial technology in Southeast Asia. I think the long-term game,
do you know it?
Well, I don't know if we be brand, hopefully. Tryb will evolve and grow. Yeah. Like we have every other company, it stands for, I think, a lot of information, a lot of data, the ability to solve problems for others. Specialists, we hope, because every company should have a strong core hold, and I think we stood for the infrastructure for financial services and products. That would be very good. Ooh. Insane, I can think of a lot.
Tell me.
think about me. Okay, I'll start with this stuff. I think people tend to think I'm cerebral. If I have to pick a word for it. And frustration is probably a little bit too long-winded. Maybe I can run off on too many intellectual tangents. I need to focus down and execute on something, I think. That's why Markus.
People tell me that I'm fairly good at executing and just getting stuff done, I would say. What drives them insane is probably the same thing. I'm sometimes a bit too intense on executing. Yeah, so good mix here.
Yeah.
For me, it sounds very cliche, I have to say, but it is this perseverance mixed with the right, I think, optimism that you can connect with humility. So these are key parts for me to say. We didn't have luckily any kind of bad times so far, but you wonder sometimes why you're doing this, and so while getting up and running my business company, I could also have another nice job. I think just persevere and go through it, have a certain kind of happiness around that keeps you grounded. That's why I mean humility is very important. So just get things done.
On my side, I think be honest. In many different ways. I think very obviously trust is probably the most important commodity in any transaction or business. And being honest with all your external counterparties is one thing, but I think more importantly, be honest with yourself. It is hard to say I want to deliver and not be able to deliver. And I think a lot of people, myself included, struggle sometimes with wanting to do things and wanting to believe that you're doing something, but you fear sometimes admitting that it's not going to turn out exactly how you want to do it. And I think that honesty helps you pivot. All businesses do, especially at the startup stage. It helps you identify where things are about to go wrong before they do, so you can manage expectations and the eventual delivery. And I think more importantly than anything else, it gives you the fortitude to say, actually, that wasn't something which we should have done. We need to pivot very quickly so that as a company we stand for the problem we want to solve, and we go about doing it again the right way, because it is 99% perspiration. And you have to have that honesty with yourself that you're still here for the right reasons.
I can give one answer. A book that I liked a lot recently was, last year actually, was 48 Laws of Power. So it's a very good book.
I firmly believe that a lot of times you stand back, you look at yourself, and you need to have a good sense of humor, a really good sense of humor, sort of take it in face every day. And I like to recommend a very intelligently funny book. I like Good Omens by Terry Pratchett. It's very dry, it's very British, it might not be everyone's cup of tea.
I think also very important is to watch Charlie Chaplin once in a while. I love watching Charlie Chaplin. Keeps me happy, keeps you cynical.
You have to laugh at yourself.
Yes,
all the time.